All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today we're jumping into a classic, a fable from the Panchtantra that's all about trust, desperation, and, the dark art of manipulation. This story really gets you thinking, asking a super tough question about our nature, both human and, animal.
So let's just get right to it. Here's the question that this whole story is built around. When things get really, really tough, survival is on the line tough, what happens to our promises? Do our principles just go out the window? Do they become these luxuries we just can't afford anymore?
Okay, so our story kicks off in this jungle kingdom, and it's ruled by, you guessed it, a powerful lion. Everything seems fine until this unexpected guest just wanders in. And right there, that's when the first lines of loyalty and honor get drawn in the sand. But as you'll see, those lines are about to get seriously tested.
So let's meet the players, because we've got a classic setup here. First up is Madukata. He's the Lion King. Seems strong, seems honorable. Keyword seems. Then you've got his crew, a super cunning jackal and a loyal crow. And then there's the odd one out, Kartanika the camel. He's a total outsider, completely lost, and you can just tell he's in a really vulnerable spot.
And right out of the gate, Madukata, the lion, he makes this really big, solemn promise. His followers are looking at this camel like he's a walking lunch special, right? But the lion, he shuts that down, flat out rejects it. Instead, he offers the camel, Kartanika, not just safety, but a spot in his own court. It's a huge deal, a really noble, kingly thing to do. But you know how these things go. This perfect little peaceful setup, it's incredibly fragile, and it's all about to come crashing down because of one single, violent moment. A moment that's going to push that noble promise right to its breaking point.
And here's where we see the dominoes start to fall. It's a total chain reaction, all because the leader gets taken out of the game. So the lion gets into this massive fight with a wild elephant and gets seriously hurt. Now he's too weak to hunt. And since he's the one who brings home the bacon, so to speak, his whole court starts to starve. The entire system is just collapsing.
So you can feel the desperation kicking in, right? And when that happens, all those clear moral lines that were drawn when everyone was happy and fed, they start to get really, really blurry. That promise that was so easy to make when his belly was full? Yeah, now it's a huge problem, a massive liability.
And this crisis, this chaos, well, for someone like the jackal, a true master manipulator, this isn't a disaster. Oh no, this is an opportunity. He looks at all the starvation and doesn't see a problem. He sees an opening.
And this really boils it all down, doesn't it? On one hand, you've got the lion's honorable promise, I will not kill a guest. But on the other hand, you have the jackal's twisted, but let's be honest, practical suggestion. Hey, if we just killed the camel, we'd all get to eat. It's honor versus survival, plain and simple.
Now this is the psychological masterstroke. The jackal is just brilliant in a really evil way. He never tells the lion, hey, go break your promise. Nope. Instead, he gives him a loophole, a clever little way out that lets the king feel like he's not the bad guy. It's not murder, he says, if the guy offers himself up. See what he did there?
And there it is. With just a few simple words, the lion completely washes his hands of any moral responsibility. He doesn't give the direct order, no. But he gives permission. He basically says, I'm going to look the other way. And for a schemer like the jackal, that is all he needs. The stage is officially set for a tragedy.
Okay, so now you have to see this. The jackal puts on this incredible piece of political theater. It's a performance designed to trap the poor, unsuspecting camel. And the bait he uses? The court's own sense of loyalty.
First up is the crow. He steps forward and makes this big, dramatic show of offering himself up for the king. Eat me, he says. Of course, it's a completely empty gesture. He's a tiny bird. What good would that do? But that's not the point. The point is he's setting the stage. He's showing everyone what a loyal subject is supposed to do.
And then, of course, the jackal himself, the guy who came up with this whole twisted plan, he does the same thing. He knows for a fact that the lion's not going to eat him. He's just doubling down on the act, making this whole idea of self-sacrifice seem like the normal, even noble thing to do.
And then, it's the camel's turn. He's seen the crow do it, he's seen the jackal do it. He thinks this is just what you're supposed to do. A safe little gesture to show you're loyal. So tragically, he steps up and makes the same offer. He has no idea he's the only one whose life is actually on the line. He thinks it's a play, but the part he's playing is the victim.
And just like that, snap. The trap closes. The loophole is there. The camel volunteered. And the lion, without even a second's hesitation, pounces. The promise is shattered in the most brutal way you can imagine, and the whole court gets to eat.
So, wow. After all that, what's the lesson here? What are we supposed to take away from this pretty dark story about manipulation and, let's face it, total moral failure?
Well, this whole thing is basically a masterclass in what we call wicked counsel. I mean, the jackal's advice, it sounded logical, right? It solved a real problem, hunger, but that was just the surface. Underneath, it was designed to do one thing, corrupt, to twist logic and poison a good leader's mind, all for his own selfish reasons.
And you know, the warnings in this old story are just as real today as they were back then. It shows you that a leader is only as good as the advice they listen to. It shows that desperation is a perfect weapon for manipulators. It screams, watch out for people who just act loyal. And maybe most importantly, it reminds us that a promise, well, it's only as strong as the person who makes it. So that leaves us with one last big question to chew on. Who's the real villain here? Is it the jackal, the guy who cooked up the evil scheme? Or is it the lion, the leader who had all the power, who made the promise and who had the responsibility to just say no, but didn't? When it comes down to it, where does the blame for betrayal really belong? Something to think about.